Alright. So, ayan, good afternoon sa ating lahat and welcome to our third webinar discussion via Zoom. So today, we would like to again welcome our resource speaker. He is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Nursing, batch 2010 at St. Mary's University. And currently, he is as a a staff nurse at Region 2 Trauma and Medical Center at the Pediatric Ward. Nurse 2 at the same time a surveillance nurse. Um, and also he's an infection prevention and control committee linked nurse at the same institution. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so proud to let you meet our resource speaker to be discussing COVID-19 infection prevention and control approach. Let's welcome Sir Stephen Estraza.
Hello sir. Thank you Sir Prince for inviting me para magkaroon ng short discussion regarding at may share ko yung mga knowledge ko regarding infection prevention and control approach dun sa COVID-19. Good afternoon po sa lahat. Please bear with me kasi alam ko itong time slot natin is ito yung nakakaantok. Pero I'll make sure na dami kong tututunan and then magiging lively itong discussion natin. Everybody, I will be discussing COVID-19, the IPC or the Infection Prevention and Control Approach, kung paano natin maiiwasan ang COVID-19. Introduction lang regarding sa COVID-19. Ang brief history ng COVID-19, it start last December 31, 2019, wherein the World Health Organization notified with a cluster of pneumonia cases in Wuhan, China. Dito, magtaka ang mga health workers doon, yung mga physicians natin, bakit dumadami ang mga pneumonia cases nila. By January 5, 2020, nagkaroon ng 59 cases and none had been, wala pa namang fatal doon sa time na yon. Pero after 10 days, dumadami na siya. It raised up to 282 confirmed cases. 4 cases were from Japan, Korea, and Thailand. So after 10 days, nagkaroon na tayo ng mga infected clients sa mga nearby country like Japan, South Korea, and Thailand. By January 7, 2020, nagkaroon sila ng yung virus. The virus responsible was isolated and lumabas ang result niya na meron tayong the genome was shared and known to be a novel coronavirus or SARS-CoV-2 noong January 12 yon. By January 30 naman, nagkaroon tayo ng first confirmed case of the Philippines as announced by the Department of Health. Ito yung isang tourist na galing China. As of June 20, 2020, ibibigay ko sa inyo yung situational report natin kung ilan na ang cases ng COVID-19. Worldwide or the global, ang confirmed cases natin is 8,525,042 cases. So madami siya all over different countries yan. In the Philippines, the confirmed cases were already 29,400 cases. Yesterday, ang ating new confirmed cases is 900. Dati, nandun lang tayo sa 300, 500. Ang trend natin ngayon is tumataas. Bakit? Kasi madami na tayong mga accredited laboratory na nakakapag-test nakakapag-test for confirmatory ng COVID cases natin. Dun sa Cagayan Valley naman, ang total confirmed cases since nag-start ang COVID is 47 cases. Wherein, ang sa Vizcaya naman, 8 cases ang may confirmed cases na tayo. Isang Alfonso Castañeda, 2 from Aritao, 1 from Bayambong, 1 from Jedi, and 3 from Solano. Wherein yung Jedi natin, isa siyang active case. Ibig sabihin, siya ay currently confined at R2TMC. Dun sa approach natin ng infection prevention and control in COVID-19, meron tayong tatlong approach dito. Um, One goal natin is to limit human-to-human transmission. Kasi ang transmission ng COVID-19 is through droplets. Okay? Dun sa mga respiratory, sa mga laway, sa mga um, yung mga laway-laway natin, yung mga tumatalsik na laway through dun sa pagkikipag-communicate mo with a confirmed case. Second is to reduce secondary infections. Ito is yung para mabawasan natin yung parang sinasabi nilang complications. And the third is to prevent transmission through amplification and super spreading events. Ang outline po natin, I will be discussing ito yung mga basic ng infection control, precautions, the risk evaluation and PPE, the proper donning and doffing of PPE. Ang proper donning and doffing of PPE natin is one of the important thing na dapat ang isang health worker alam, especially as nurses doon in case na mag-work kayo in the future sa hospital at magkikater kayo ng mga highly infected clients, dapat you must know how to do it, how to put on the PPE and how to remove it. And also, may di-discuss pa ako sa inyo regarding dun sa basic, yung the most basic prevention of infection is which is the hand hygiene. Ayan. Dito muna tayo sa standard precautions. Ang standard precautions natin, initially, noong 1985, nag-boom ito dahil sa HIV. Kaya nag-term ang WHO na gamitin ang universal precaution. Noong 1987, nagkaroon din ng another set ng standard precaution which is the body substance isolation. Ito yung mga yung mga um, yung mga precaution natin in terms dun sa paghahawak ng mga body fluids. And noong 1996, nagkaroon din na tayo yung standard-based precaution na and transmission-based precaution. Itong standard-based and transmission-based, sa mga next slides, i-discuss ko na. Ang standard precaution is a set of practices that are applied to the care of patients, regardless of the state of infection, suspicion, or confirmation yon, in any place where health services are provided. For example, in the outpatient department or yung mga frontline services na sinasabi natin, like emergency room or emergency department, ang precaution na i-apply mo doon lahat is standard kasi kasi ang nakalagay dito is applied to the care of patients regardless of the state of infection, even suspect pa lang ba siya or confirmed na siya. Ang mga basic na included sa standard precautions natin, it includes hand hygiene, the use of PPE or the personal protective equipment, respiratory hygiene or the cough etiquette, sharps safety, safe injection practices, sterile instruments and devices, clean and disinfected environmental surfaces. Pero ang more on itatackle ko dito is yung regarding sa hand hygiene and the use of personal protective equipment. Transmission-based precaution, ito naman is ginagamit ito sa mga yung mga talagang alam mo na kung anong type or anong mode of transmission ng sakit na yon. For example, contact precaution, dito mo i-base yung mga skin to skin, yung true touch na magkakaroon ka ng yung contamination through touch. Like example, varicella kasi direct contact yun. Yun ang gagamitin natin, yung contact precaution. Another one is the droplet precaution. For example, especially ito yung mga droplet precaution, yung mga respiratory infections natin. Like itong COVID-19, under pa rin siya ng droplet precaution. The next is the airborne precaution. Airborne precaution, for example, ito is yung mga tuberculosis patients natin. Kailangan natin ng highly kasi ang airborne precaution, ang microorganisms ng mga yan is super liit. Kaya sa may mask na dito sa may surgical mask na ito, kayang-kaya niyang pumasok. So you will have a chance na may infect ka pa din. Risk evaluation natin sa PPE. Kailangan mong i-evaluate muna kung yung use mo ng PPE. First is the type of interaction with patient. Isipin mo kung ano ba ang gagawin mo sa pasyente. Are you going to just interview it? Or are you going to touch the patient and do some procedure? Dapat isipin natin yon para alam natin kung what type of PPE will be used. The next is the mode of transmission of the disease. Sabi ko nga sa last slide, yung airborne precaution natin. For example, ang patient mo is measles or tuberculosis. Kung alam mo na yung mode of transmission ng disease mo ng patient, is you must be aware na ang dapat mong gamitin is yung proper PPE. For example, sa TB, ang dapat mong gamitin para mag-care ka sa kanya, since airborne siya, kailangan mo na ng N95. And the next is the amount of fluid that will be generated. It will be applicable naman ito sa mga, kunyari sa operating room. Kung masyado bang may risk ka ba sa splashes, anong type of PPE ang gagamitin mo? Yung semi-permeable gown ba? Or kailangan mo yung coverall, which is a water-resistant gown. Ayan. The general principles of PPE is first, hand hygiene should always be performed despite PPE use. Ito yung very parang number one rule sa infection control and proper use of PPE, which is do the proper hand hygiene. The next is remove and replace if necessary and damage any damaged or broken pieces of reusable PPE as soon as you become aware that they are not in full working order. Dito naman, kunyari, na punit yung gloves mo, and you are aware, you must remove it and replace it para hindi ka mag-further cause ng further infection both to yourself or to the patient. The third principle is to remove all PPE as soon as possible after completing the care and avoid contaminating the environment outside the isolation room, any other patient or worker, and yourself. Ito, ang removal ng PPE natin, ang PPE po natin is hindi yung naka-PPE ka sa isang pasyente, sa isang room, tapos yun pa rin ang gagamitin mo sa next. Ideally, ang ating PPE is pang single use lang. The next is discard all items of PPE carefully and perform hand hygiene immediately afterwards. Dito papasok natin yung waste management, and yung which is dapat separated ang ating mga PPEs na itatapon siya sa infectious bin. There are factors influencing PPE selection. Sinabi ko na din ito, yung type of exposure anticipated, splash or spray versus touch, category of isolation precautions. Ito yung droplet, contact, and airborne. Durability and appropriateness for the task, and yung fit niya sa gagamit. Ito na yung mga dapat gamitin natin sa PPE natin. First is the gloves. What is the purpose of the gloves? It is used for patient care environmental services, and others. Material ng gloves natin usually is vinyl, latex, nitrile, and other. Pero usually latex gloves ang ating ginagamit. It is sterile or non-sterile. It is used with one or two pair and single use and or reusable. Usually sa hospital, ang gloves natin is single use and it is not reusable. Ang reusable gloves lang natin yung mga pang garden, yung mga sa housekeeping services. Yun lang ating mga reusable gloves. Do's and don'ts of glove use. Um, Work from clean to dirty to avoid cross-contamination or contaminating the cleanest part. And then limit opportunities for touch contamination. You must protect yourself and others and the environment. So, um, rule dito is do not touch your face or adjust the PPE with contaminated gloves. Ang pag naka-gloves ka, hindi fit ang iyong mask, wag mong lalo pa especially pag contaminated yung gloves, wag mong i-adjust yun. Make sure na ipa-adjust mo na lang sa um, ipa-adjust mo na lang sa kasama mo. And don't touch environmental surfaces except as necessary during patient care. Change glove. Yung sa changing ng gloves during use tapos napunit and when heavily soiled, dapat you must change your gloves. And also you must change your glove after use on each patient. Discard in appropriate receptacle. Never wash or reuse disposable gloves. Ito yung ang color ng receptacle natin for infectious is color yellow. Yung sa gowns or aprons naman tayo. Material niya usually is natural or man-made. It is reusable or disposable. It is resistant to fluid penetration. It is clean or sterile. Yung clean natin, yung mga ginagamit natin itong mga impermeable gown na sinasabi during patient care. Ang sterile gowns naman natin, ito yung mga ginagamit during operation and delivery dun sa OR and DR natin. Face protection. Ang face protection natin, it consists of mask, goggles, or the face shield. Sa mask, it protects the nose and mouth. It should fully cover the nose and mouth and prevent fluid penetration. Sa goggles, it protects the eyes. It should fit snugly over and around eyes. Personal glasses should not be substituted to goggles. Yung mga nakasalamin, dapat tanggalin hindi yun enough to protect you from infection. Pagdating dun sa concept natin regarding the personal protective equipment, hindi siya pwedeng i-replace into the goggles na ginagamit natin in caring our clients. Anti-fog feature improves clarity. Yung anti-fog feature kasi dapat ang PPE natin, it is well tested. Ideally kasi sa ibang bansa, bago ka magkunyan, susukatan ka. Dapat may mga fit testing pa sa mask, yung mga ganun. Yung sa face shield naman, it protects the whole face, the nose, mouth, and eyes. It should cover the forehead, extend below the chin, and wrap around side of face. Dun sa respiratory protection natin, the purpose naman, yung respiratory protection natin is it includes dito yung mga N95 natin, the particulate respirators. Yung respiratory protection, the purpose is to protect from inhalation of infection aerosols. Ito yung mga highly infectious na patient natin. For example, is yung mga infected ng Mycobacterium tuberculosis. The PPE types for respiratory protection, it includes particulate respirators. It is half or full face elastomeric respirators and powered air purifying respirators. Pero ang ating usual common na ginagamit is yung particulate respirators, which is the N95 mask. Elements of respiratory protection program. Ito nga yung sinasabi ko, kailangan ng medical evaluation. Fit testing, training, and fit checking before use. Ito yung sinasabi ko na kailangan ng parang isusukat yung mask na yon. Kasi mawawalan ng bisa or parang mawawala sa purpose yung N95 mo kung hindi naman siya fit sa'yo, kung too large sa'yo, kung too small sa'yo. It can also cause you it will cause infection to the health worker kung hindi properly fit ang kanilang mga ang kanilang particulate respirators. For additional information on respirators, meron tayong mga dito, may mga websites tayo na pwede nyong basahin kung ano ang mga pagkakaiba ng mga respirators na meron tayo. Pero usually kasi ang ginagamit lang talaga dito sa atin is the N95 mask. PPE, used in healthcare settings, how to safely don, using, and remove PPE. Ayan, dito na tayo sa proper use, proper donning and doffing. Ang donning natin, ibig sabihin kung paano how to put on your PPE. May sequence, may proper sequence yan. Itatackle ko sa mga susunod na slides. Pero before that, may mga key points tayo about the PPE. Done before contact with the patient, generally before entering the room. You must use it carefully to avoid and don't spread contamination. The third one is to remove and discard carefully, either at the doorway or immediately outside patient room. Remove respirator outside the room. And then immediately perform hand hygiene. Ito yung sinasabi ko na isang basic infection control natin, dapat alam natin ang how to perform hand hygiene. Sequence, ito na yung sequence natin. Dapat memorize natin to. The sequence of donning PPE is, first, you must put on the gown, and then the mask or the respirator, the goggles or the face shield, and the last is the gloves. Ayan, how to don a gown. Select appropriate types and size. Ang opening dapat ng don mo is in the back. Secure at neck and waist. Uunahin mong isa-secure yung nasa neck mo before you secure it to your waist. If gown is too small, use two gowns. For example, sa mga bigger size na person, mga health workers, pag hindi napasadya ang kanilang mga gowns, meron tayong magagawa natin ng paraan yun. Gagamit tayo ng dalawang gown. The first gown is yung parang ang tie niya is nasa front, and yung sa second gown is yung tie niya is nasa back, para all over his body or her body covered pa din siya. It will protect her from contamination. How to don a mask. Place over nose, mouth, and chin. Dapat nako-cover yung nose, mouth, and yung baba mo. And then yung alam niyo yung mask natin, merong wire sa may nose niya, ay sa may sa may taas. Yung part na yun ang dapat na nasa nose nyo. Kasi yun yung parang i-fit nyo doon sa may nose nyo para mas maprotektahan kayo. Fit flexible nose piece over nose bridge. Ito yung sinasabi ko. Yung flexible na wire doon sa kanya. Secure on head with ties or elastic. pag ganitong kwan na 'to, surgical mask ang ginagamit. Usually ginagamit 'to sa OR. Ang first na ise-secure niyo 'pag tie on is yung sa taas, itong taas na 'to. Ito ang unang itatali niyo. And then the second one is dun sa may baba. Yun ang itatay niyo naman. Pag elastic band naman siya, ang ikukuha niyo, ang hahawakan niyo lang is yung sa may tie niya, yung elastic tie niya. Yun lang. Huwag niyo hahawakan yung part ng mask dito. And then adjust to fit. Dito na yung i-fit niyo na yung dito niya, yung sa may nose bridge niyo. I-fit niyo na para mas ma-protect mas maganda yung fit yung respirator niyo. How to don a particulate respirator. Ito yung sinasabi kong particulate respirator, which is the N95. Ito yung parang cup, yung bao ng nyog. Ganon yung kwan niya. Ganon yung itsura niya. Ito, you must select a fit tested respirator. Ito na naman tayo dun sa fit tested. Ibig sabihin, hindi tayo basta-basta dapat gumagamit yan. Ideally, it must be fit tested. You must place over nose, mouth, and chin then. It must fit flexible nose space over nose bridge. Secure on head with elastic. Usually, yung ganitong respirator natin, it is, tawag dito, yung kanya, yung tali niya is hindi siya yung gayang surgical or hindi siya yung tie-on. It is an elastic type ng pagkon niya. You must adjust to fit and perform a fit check. Sa fit check na yan, malalaman yung fit siya sa inyo pag inhale kayo, yung respirator nyo should collapse. Ibig sabihin, pag nag-inhale kayo, para siyang part nito papasok doon sa kwan mo, towards your face. Pero pag exhale naman, para malaman nyo kung fit siya sa inyo, pag mag-exhale kayo, dapat dito wala kayong mararamdamang mahangahangin dito sa may mga gilid niya. Ayan. Yun ang properly fit na respirator. Kaya yung ginagawa natin, yung practice natin, sorry sinasabi ko na practice sa hospital kasi since lahat isang size lang, syempre ilan lang ang staff noon na ma-fit sa kanila yun, hindi naman lahat. Kaya nawawalan din ng tawag dito, nawawalan din ng purpose yung N95 namin. How to don eye and face protection. First is to position goggles over eyes and secure to the head using the earpieces or headband. And next is position face shield over face and secure on brow with headband and adjust to fit comfortably. Ito yung sa may goggles. Yun. Huwag nyo hahawakan yung sa may glass part. Yung may gilid lang, yung nilalagay sa may ears, yun lang ang hahawakan natin. Ayan. How to don gloves. Don gloves last. Ito yung na kinukuha natin. Kasi ang purpose nito kaya last para yung sleeve ng gown mo maiipit mo doon. And then select correct type and size of gloves. Insert hands into gloves and extend gloves over isolation gown cuff. Ito. Dapat hanggang dito. Para hindi mag-slip on pataas yung gown nyo habang gumagawa kayo ng procedure, which will expose your skin na maaaring magiging source ay maaaring pamumugaran ng microorganism once na na-exposed. How to safely use PPE. Keep gloved hands away from your face. During caring yung during caring during dun sa procedure na ginagawa mo sa patient, wag na wag mong ihahawak ang gloved hand mo sa mukha mo kasi it can cause you infection din. Parang mahahawaan ka. And then avoid touching or adjusting other PPEs. Dapat before ka mag-care, dapat make sure na sabi ko nga dun sa proper donning natin na dapat lahat ng PPE mo well fit sa'yo to avoid, alam mo yun, yung adjust mo, ganyan-ganyan. Remove gloves if they become torn. Perform hand hygiene before donning new gloves. For example, nagbibigay ka ng gamot or gumagawa ka ng procedure in IFC insertion. Naka-don ka na ng gown, gloves, lahat-lahat. Tapos, sumabit yung gloves mo. Napunit. Ang gawin mo, tatanggalin mo yung gloves and then perform hand hygiene, which is yung hand washing or hand rub using sanitizer. And then, get a new pair of gloves and don a um, new glove. Limit surfaces and items touch. How to safely remove PPE. Ito yung tinatawag nating doffing. DOFFING. Yung removal naman yun ng PPE. Contaminated and clean areas of PPE. Ito dapat alam natin yung concept na to. Yung contaminated areas ng PPE natin is yung nasa labas, outside, front. Areas of PPE that have or are likely to have been in contact with body sites, materials, or environmental surfaces where the infectious organism may reside. The clean side naman or clean areas ng PPE is yung nasa loob natin, inside. Tapos yung outside, back, ties on head and back. Areas of PPE that are not likely to have been in contact with the infectious organism. Yung mga nasa likod natin, yung mga tali-tali sa likod sa mga surgical mask natin, ganon. Yun yung clean area ng PPE. The sequence naman, dapat memorize nyo din to. The sequence of removing PPE naman. Yung kanina, donning natin. Ang first sa donning, gown, mask, goggles, gloves. Ito sa doffing, removing naman, merong magkaiba. Unahin mong tanggalin ang gloves and then face shield, gown, and lastly is yung mask or respirator. May concept why natin hinuhuli ang mask or respirator. Tignan natin sa mga susunod na slides kung bakit respirator. Before that, where to remove PPE. I-remove natin ang PPE at the doorway before leaving the patient room or in an anteroom. Ideally kasi, ang isang isolation room may anteroom before ka dun pumunta sa mismong room ng pasyente. Dun sa anteroom, dun gagawin yung mga hand washing, primer donning and doffing ng PPEs natin. The next is remove respirator outside the room after door had been closed. Kasi for example, dito mo sa doorway or sa anteroom mo tinanggal, airborne yung mode of transmission ng patient mo. Di ibig sabihin, you have a chance na makukuha mo yung infection, mai-infect ka dun sa mga malalanghap mong mga particles sa air pag dun mo tinanggal. Kaya dapat huhuli nating i-remove yung respirator natin or yung mask outside the room. Ensure that the hand hygiene facilities are available at the point needed. For example, sink or alcohol-based hand rub. Yung hand hygiene, i-discuss ko later on. Ito, first, how to remove the gloves. Ayan. Kung sino yung mga may na-expose sa OR, you have an idea kung paano na. Grasp outside the edge near your wrist. Ito. Yan, dito ka maghahawak. Huwag mong hahawakan na dito. Dito mo tatanggalin. Hindi. Dito. Para yung clean part, yung nasa loob ng gown mo, yun ang nakalabas, which can parang mako-contain para dun sa loob ng ng gloves na to, mako-contain niya yung infection na dito lang. Hindi siya makaka-contaminate ng iba. Peel away from hand, turning glove inside out. Ito yung sinasabi ko, inside out. Hold on opposite gloved hand. And then, ganun din sa next. Ito yung sa next is slide ungloved finger under the wrist of the remaining glove. And then peel off from outside, creating a bag for both gloves. Ayun. Then discard. Ito yung process nung sa may second gloves. Di ba bare hand ka na? Ipapasok mo yung pointer mo, yung index finger mo, dun sa clean part ng gloves, which is dun sa loob, and then i-slide mo din siya pataas para siyang nakabag na gaya ng ganito. Ayan, and then discard. Removing the goggles or the face shield. Grasp ear or head pieces with ungloved hand. Nakawala ka ng gloves, ang hahawakan mo lang yung dito sa may ears niya, yung pinangkabit sa ears. Yan ang hawakan mo kasi 'di ba sabi natin kanina na ang clean part, clean area ng PPE is yung mga tali sa likod. And then this one, 'di ba? Lift away from face, place in designated receptacle for reprocessing or disposal. Sa atin hindi naman tawag dito, hindi naman dinidiscard itong mga to. Hindi naman disposable, I should say, yung mga goggles natin and face shield kasi it is reusable. May process tayo doon ng parang pag-disinfect doon sa goggles natin. Removing isolation gown. Ito. First is to unfasten the ties doon sa likod. Peel gown away from neck and shoulder. Unahin mo yung sa may neck and shoulder. Tatandaan natin na ang clean part ng gown natin is yung nasa loob. Kaya dapat yung nasa loob, yun ang nasa labas na ngayon pag nagtatanggal ka para iwas ko ulit na makakontaminate ng ibang object or makontaminate yung sarili mo. Turn contaminated outside towards the inside and fold or roll into a bundle and then discard. Sa disposable gowns natin yon. Sa removing a mask, ito din, ganun din, yung concept pare-parehas lang din. Basta wag mong hahawakan yung nasa front part ng PPE mo. Untie the bottom part, ito. Pag naka-surgical tie-on mask ka, dito muna sa baba, tatanggalin mo. And then the top tie, and then ito. Top tie. Tapos remove from face and discard. Ayan. Remember, dito dapat wag nating parang pinapagpag or wag nating iniiwasan nating napapagpag ang mga PPEs natin na nagamit na. Kasi it will para yung ano tawag dito? Pupunta yung infection, yung mga microorganisms na nandun is pupunta sa air. Kaya may possible tayong magkaroon tayo ng infection. Removing a particulate respirator. Ito, lift the bottom elastic over your head first. Ito yung, di ba yung nandito? Yun ang uunahin mo. And then, lift off the top elastic. Ito, elastic. And then, discard. Dapat, dun sa removing the particulate respirator din, ang kailangan, dapat naka-lean on ka para diretso. Dun sa lean on ka dun sa may disposal, yung sa disposal, dun sa receptacle natin para i-shoot mo agad dun yung particulate respirator. PPE used in healthcare settings. Dun sa final thoughts natin, the PPE is available to protect you from exposure to infectious agents in the healthcare workplace. And you must know what type of PPE is necessary for the duties you perform, and you must use it correctly. Ang references natin, galing sa World Health Organization, Center of Disease and Control, and dun sa Department of Health. And another topic ko po is about the hand hygiene. Dito naman po sa hand hygiene, makikita natin yung basic na concept kung paano gawin siya. And then, dito natin makikita na kung gaano ka-importante ang hand hygiene. Ayan, ito yung outline natin, the historical background, key definitions, yung sa requirement ng hand hygiene facility, yung 5 moments of hand hygiene, and differentiate natin yung medical and surgical hand hygiene, and reasons of non-compliance and strategies. Ayan. According sa DOH National Standards in Infection Control for healthcare facilities, um, dito sa blue book na sinasabi sa infection control ng DOH, ang kailangan standard 1 natin is the Infection Control Committee initiates development, implementation, evaluation, review, and updating of written guideline, policies, and procedures pertinent to activities of that department or unit. Ang requirement natin is magkaroon tayo ng basic infection control guidelines, policies, and procedures on hand hygiene. Kasali siya sa DOH standards in infection control. Ito, tignan nyo na nasa number 1 pa siya. So, ibig sabihin, siya yung dapat na ating basic. Ito ang pinaka-basic na alam dapat ng lahat. Kasi sa kamay natin, yung safety, it starts here. Ito, I will view a 2-minute video ata ito. Ayan, regarding sa history kung kung sino at kung paano nila nakuha yung hand hygiene.
Years before the germ theory of disease was developed, the Viennese physician Ignaz Semmelweis came to the startling discovery that doctors could save the lives of patients simply by washing their hands. Although he couldn't explain why hand disinfection was so effective, his research in 1847 would go on to transform the way surgery is carried out and infectious diseases are controlled today. Known locally as the savior of women, Semmelweis initiated hand-washing policies which helped drastically reduce the mortality rate from childbed fever in the Viennese obstetrics clinics where he worked. Childbed fever, or puerperal fever, is the infection of the female reproductive organs following childbirth and was a common cause of death at the time. Semmelweis's attention was first drawn to the mortality rate of the clinics he worked at, because women would beg to be admitted to the clinics run by midwives rather than those staffed by students. The women were so desperate to avoid the student clinics that they would rather give birth in the street. After looking into the mortality rate of the two clinics, he found that the student-run clinic did indeed have a much higher mortality rate from puerperal fever, sometimes 3 times higher. After eliminating various factors, Semmelweis came to the conclusion that the students carried something from the dissection rooms where they performed autopsies to the patients they examined during labor. He ordered the students to wash their hands in a solution of chlorinated lime before each examination. The mortality rate fell from 18% to 1%. Despite the success of his policy, Semmelweis faced the wrath of the medical community. He could offer no acceptable explanation for his findings, as the notion that there were germs causing disease was unaccepted, and various doctors were offended by the insinuation that their hands were dirty. He was ostracized and ridiculed by the leading medical figures of his time and eventually driven out of Vienna. After struggling for years to promote his hand disinfection policies, Semmelweis was admitted to an insane asylum at the age of 47. He died 14 days later.
Ayan. Napanood nyo yung history ng ating hand hygiene. Hindi lang pala basta-basta hugas-hugas kamay ito. May reason din behind kung bakit important ang ating hand hygiene, which is si Ignaz Semmelweis ang naging parang siya yung nataguri ang father of hand hygiene. Ayan. Key definitions and techniques to hand hygiene. Ang hand hygiene natin, performing hand washing, antiseptic hand wash, alcohol-based hand rub, surgical hand hygiene, antisepsis to remove microorganisms that are inhabited in our hands. While yung hand washing, ito yung ginagamit natin ang plain soap and water. Sa antiseptic hand wash naman, ito, dun sa word na antiseptic, ibig sabihin may antiseptic agent na ginamit. For example, ito yung ginagawa for example, dun sa tawag dito, yung hand washing na ginagawa ng mga staff sa yung parang may solution sila, liquid soap na may antisepsis agent na kasama, doon pumapasok ang antiseptic hand wash. Alcohol-based hand rub. Ito. Meron tayong mga sanitizers and gels, rubbing alcohol, ganun. Dito natin ginagamit. Kasi ang pagkakaiba nun ng hand washing is the cheapest way to prevent infection is yung proper hand washing with plain soap and water. Unlike dun sa alcohol-based hand rub kasi, it is costly and tawag ito, minsan may mga taong allergic din dito lalo na sa mga sanitizers or gels. Doon sa surgical hand hygiene or antisepsis, ito yung ginagawa naman ng mga surgical personnel sa ORDR. Ito yung process nila. Ayan. The importance of hand hygiene. It is the act for the purpose of removing soil, dirt, and microorganisms sa kamay natin. It is one of the most important things to do to help prevent and control the spread of many illnesses. It will reduce the risk of things like flu, food poisoning, and healthcare-associated infections. Ayan, dito, nakita nyo naman dun sa mga importance na nakalagay dito kung gaano siya, kung gaano importante ang hand hygiene, especially sa nurses. Kasi ang hands natin, ito yung pinaka maduming parte ng katawan natin, na which is parang ito yung carrier ng infection from one patient to another. Kaya dapat in between patient care, dapat we are doing hand hygiene pa din. What lives in our hands? Ito yung natin, yung anatomy ng skin natin, kung bakit. May resident flora tayo and the transient flora. The resident flora is our normal skin flora. Ito yung mga microorganisms na talagang nandun na sa skin natin. It is deep-seated. It is difficult to remove. Parts of the body's natural defense mechanism. And it is associated with infection following surgery or invasive procedure. Dun sa transient flora natin, dito siya nag-i-stay sa superficial lang. Dun sa may part ng epidermis. It is transferred with ease to and from hands. Ayan. Pag tinouch mo ng hands mo na may microorganism yung epidermis mo, itinouch mo dun sa kabilang hands through handshake, may possible na makukuha din niya yon hanggang sa na siya. Hanggang sa kumalat na yung microorganism. Important cause of cross-infection. Ito yung sinasabi ko, yung cross-infection. And it is easily removed with good hand hygiene. Yun ang um, magandang point sa proper hand hygiene natin. It removes transient flora which can cause cross-infection or transfer of infection from each other. Generally, survive on the skin of the hands for less than 25 hours. 5 stages of hand transmission. First, the germs present on patient's skin and immediate environment surfaces. And then it transfer onto healthcare worker's hand. And it survive on the hands of for several minutes. And fourth stage, the suboptimal or omitted hand cleansing results in hands remaining contaminated. And on the fifth stage, contaminated hands transmit patient or patient's environment. Ayan, dun sa 5 stages of hand transmission natin, um, pwede nating i-break yun bago tayo pumunta sa stage 5, which is yung contamination na ng hands natin na magkakaroon tayo ng parang hahawakan na natin yung patient. Bago tayo pumunta sa 5, pwede na nating pigilan pa yung transmission ng germs or microorganisms dun sa stage 1 pa lang na nasa present pa lang sa skin natin or skin ng patient. Hand hygiene. Ito, remember, the most important way to prevent transmission of microorganism and transmission, microorganisms and infection, is the hand hygiene, hand washing, and hand rubs. The preparation for hand hygiene. Ayan, first, you must remove all your bracelets or mga jewelries mo. Bracelets, rings, and wristwatch. The second is long sleeve. Long sleeve must be rolled up to above the elbow. If applicable, tie a band. Ayan. Para yung sa policy na sinasabi nila na nothing below the elbow policy. Ayan. Ito yun, oh. Ayan. Remove jackets, cardigans, jumpers, coats, or hang them in a designated area. Ito. Kasi it will hinder your proper hand washing kasi kung may mga jewelries ka, may mga ganito ka. Sa fourth preparation natin, fingernails should be, number 1, it should be short, clean, free from nail varnish or the nail polish, free from nail art, free from nail extensions, and free from artificial fingernails. Methods of hand hygiene. Ito yun, yung alcohol-based hand rub, hand washing, and surgical hand washing. Pero ang most common natin is yung alcohol-based hand rub and hand washing. Halos lahat tayo gumagawa nito. Even sa home, ito nagagawa natin magmula nung may COVID tayo. Kasi ayaw natin magkaroon ng parang nag-i-spray sa hands natin yung microorganism na possible microorganism na nasa kamay natin. Dun sa alcohol-based hand rub or the AHPR, alcohol solutions containing 60 to 80% alcohol are most effective, with higher concentrations being less potent. Dun sa fragrance na dapat, depende kasi sa health worker or sa person yun kung ano yung mas prefer niya. Yung iba ayaw nila na masyadong matapang na amoy. Yung iba naman mas gusto nila. Ganon. Sa consistency and texture, hand rubs are available as gels, solutions, or foams. Yung sa gels, it may produce a feeling of humectant or humectant buildup, or the hands may feel slippery or oily with repeated use. Ito yung parang malapot kasi itong gel eh. Kaya yung iba, ayaw nila. Solutions. The consistency is similar to water, often dry more quickly. Dun sa foams, it is less frequently used and more expensive. May produce stinger buildup and may take longer to dry. how to do hand rub. Ayun, dun sa hand washing tayo. Sorry, wala yung video ko nung hand rub. Hand washing, it is the act of cleansing the hands with water and soap or other liquid antiseptic solutions for the purpose of removing soil or microorganism. This is surgical hand washing naman, or also known as scrub, is an act of removing dirt and microorganisms confined in our hands prior to a surgical procedure. Ayan. In hand hygiene, ito yung mga areas most often missed during hand hygiene. Ayan, itong mga to. Ayan yung mga red. Ayan. We must put emphasis on these areas. The webs of the fingers, the thumb, the palm, the nails, and the back of fingers. Itong mga to. And yung wrist natin. Ito, often missed din kasi itong wrist natin. Ayan. The 5 moments of hand hygiene. Itong 5 moments of hand hygiene, ito yung na-formulate ng WHO in accordance dun sa patient safety nila and the infection control na dapat dito yung mga top 5 or yung mga moments na dapat gumagawa na obserbahan natin properly ang hand hygiene. First is before touching a patient. The second is before cleaning or aseptic procedure. The third, after fluid exposure risk, paghahawak ka ng body fluids. And the fourth is after touching a patient. And the last is after touching patient surroundings. Yung mga bed frames natin, yung mga tables, ganyan, IV stand, mga call bell ng pasyente. After touching ng mga yon, you must do hand hygiene. There are also barriers to hand hygiene kung bakit tayo minsan as a healthcare worker nami-miss natin. Number 1 is inaccessible hand hygiene supplies. Kulang tayo ng supplies. For example, walang mga hand drops, walang alcohol, ganun, especially sa mga government hospital, which is ang alcohol is bali fast-moving parang supply namin. Minsan wala kaming nagagamit, kaya no choice, we do the proper hand washing. The second is skin irritation caused by hand hygiene agents. Ayan. Ito na yung mga may allergy, may mga skin allergy sa mga reagents na mga ginagamit. The third one is the hand washing and hand hygiene products thought to be harmful to the skin. Fourth is the priority of care. Ayan. Especially, for example, dun sa R2TMC, since madaming mga pasyente dyan, the patients need takes priority over hand hygiene. Kaya minsan, ang mga staff namin, kaming mga staff, nakakalimutan na mag-hand hygiene. Kasi mas inuuna namin yung patient care. Kung yung mga procedure, mga pag-aalaga namin sa patient, yun ang inuuna namin. Kaya minsan, hindi na kami nakakapag-hand hygiene. The fifth one is the lack of knowledge of the guidelines. Yung iba kasi, walang, especially yung mga nasa laundry. Hindi naman sa pangkokon, pero yung mga nasa, hindi si health workers, sila yung mga walang knowledge regarding sa hand hygiene. Lack of feedback to encourage compliance. Insufficient time for hand hygiene. O yan, insufficient time for hand hygiene. Yung madami kang bulk of work. Ganyan. Due to understaffing. Next is forgetfulness. Ito, personal reason na to. Personal barrier na to. And then, high workload and understaffing. Sinabi ko nga. Lack of scientific information about healthcare-related infection rates. Ayan. Pero, despite dun sa mga barriers natin sa practice ng hand hygiene, may mga strategies naman tayo to improve hand hygiene. First is more convenient sink locations. Dapat, before, yun dun sa planning pa lang, may mga kon na tayo. may mga located sink, mga hand hygiene facilities na tayo dun sa floor plan pa lang. Next is performance feedback, policy reviews, memo. And then with the parang collaboration naman sa ibang sa ating health education and promotion unit, posters, films and brochures, stickers, kon yun, yung mga poster na kwan, it can help. Lectures and demonstrations, alcohol-based hand rub made available. Ayun, sa R2PMC, we practice na lahat ng mga rooms, lahat ng mga doorsteps, may mga alcohol-based hand rub for patient and visitors use, and also um, dun sa station, meron din yan. Announcement of observation, focus group discussion, voice prompts if failure hand rub, education and administrative support. In summary natin, dun sa hand hygiene, it is significantly introduced by Semmelweis. Transmission of healthcare-associated pathogens from one patient to another via healthcare workers' hands requires 5 sequential steps. Ayan. Hand hygiene is the single most effective precaution for prevention of infection transmission between patients and staff. Hand hygiene may be performance of hand washing, antiseptic hand wash, alcohol-based hand rub, and surgical hand hygiene. Fourth is the formulation of hand antisepsis should be tested for its antimicrobial efficacy. Kung effective ba siya sa mga certain microorganisms, yung mga antisepsis na formulate or mga procure ng 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 isang institution or facility. To further facilitate ease of recall and expand the ergonomic dimension, the 5 moments for hand hygiene are numbered according to the habitual care workflow. Ayun, yung sa may 5 moments of hand hygiene. First is before touching a patient. Second, before a clean or antisepsis procedure. Third, after exposure to body fluids. Fourth, after touching the patient. And the fifth moment is yung tinatawag nating after touching the patient surroundings. Kasi dun sa point of care natin, even the bed, we consider it as parang source of infection. Parang dirty. Yung parang dirty area ng point of care natin sa pasyente. Last is the strategies on how to overcome non-compliance to hand hygiene are readily accessible. Ayan. For the information of everybody, ang Global Hand Washing Day natin, according to the World Health Organization, is celebrated every 15th of October. Yan, washing hands save lives. Thank you.
Alright, ayan. So thank you
Okay,
so
sir.
much,
Sir, thank you.
Sir Stephen. Ayan, maraming salamat for your time. Ayan. Thank you so much for gracing this webinar, our third webinar series actually, na ginaganap namin from June until sa pasukan on August.
Opo.
So, once again, sir, hindi namin alam kung paano ka namin pasasalamatan for your for giving us your free time and for sharing us your knowledge and expertise about COVID-19 prevention of infection and control. So, once again, sir, sana makita ka namin ulit sa mga susunod naming webinar series and sana mabigyan mo ulit kami ng mga sharings about and updates about what is happening in R2TMC, kung ano yung mga
Opo.
policies at the same time. Any any topics that will surely enhance the knowledge and skills of our students. For sure, lalo na sa mga magte-take ng board exams,
Yes, sir.
baka may mga lumabas about COVID-19. Ayan. Kasi during our time, sir, di ba kung naalala mo, nung nag-aaral tayo, nag-ano din, meron din tayong health concern or health issue yung meningococcemia and
Opo,
SARS,
opo.
right? And
Opo.
may mga concepts, may mga topics na lumabas about those diseases. So,
Opo.
ayun sir. Final word sir sa ating mga
Okay.
estudyante, baka may mga gusto kang sabihin.
Okay. Sir, to all the students, thank you din for listening. And then if gusto niyo makuha yung tawag yun, slides ko, just PM me or just or bigay ko kay Sir Prince para hingi kayo ng copy sa kanya. Ayun po. Thank you din everybody for listening kahit ganitong oras tayo. And then um, sa next, sabihan nyo lang ako kung may gusto pa kayong topic na marinig from me. Ayun, thank you po.
Ayan. Thank you so much once again
Okay.
sir. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay po. Sige. Thank you sir. Bye-bye po.
Sige, sir.